You're watching Reality Check. With the raids this weekend on the aides of Akhilesh Yadav of the Samajwadi Party, the BJP's main rival in poll-bound Uttar Pradesh, the use or misuse of central agencies to target the Modi government's critics has once again come into sharp focus. Allegations mounting that the sheer scale and sweep of the actions is not anti-corruption but a witch hunt to settle scores or neutralize the opposition. The government's defense is not new, that this is not vendetta. Agencies act independently based on credible inputs. Let the law take its own course is the standard defense. Now, in theory, the government is not wrong. The use or misuse of central agencies has a long history in Indian politics. Equally, it goes without saying that the law should take its course. It can be no one's case that our political class or indeed anyone else is above scrutiny simply because they have opposing views. Credible evidence of corruption or financial wrongdoing must be probed and the guilty should be punished. But is it business as usual under the Modi government? Or is there some basis to the argument that the misuse has dramatically spiked in the past 7 years? To put this to test, my colleague Mariam, who joins me on the show tonight, attempted to create a catalogue of all the actions against opposition leaders and government critics since 2014 by central agencies. And you can already see some of the flashes on the screen indicating to you that that's seen a massive surge, close to 570 cases in just the past 7 years. But before we get into the more detailed description of what we found, Mariam, let's just start with understanding and telling our viewers how exactly did we count all these cases and all these numbers?
So, Vasu, this first of its kind catalogue is the culmination of an almost 3-month-long exercise. We painstakingly went through reports in the public domain, scanning them month by month to compile our database. We looked at any and all coercive actions like registering of cases, questioning, raids, filing of charge sheets, and even arrests, etc., by law enforcement agencies and investigating agencies under the central government like the CBI, the ED, the Income Tax Department, the Delhi Police, and even the centrally run the Jammu and Kashmir administration. And the results are staggering. But before we get into the results, I think we must underline that despite our best efforts, this is not an exhaustive list. And it is also not a commentary on the merits of any of these cases against those targeted. It is simply an attempt to quantify what has been shared anecdotally before. Are central agencies being used or misused to target different forms of opposition? Okay. So now what did we find?
Yes.
Since May 2014, when the Modi government first came into power, 570 government critics have faced some sort of coercive action. Of the 570, close to 400 or 70% are BJP's political rivals, their family members or their aides and associates. This is a massive increase compared to similar action under the UPA 2 government. This is a jump of 340% compared to similar action under the UPA 2 government. And it's not just politicians and their relatives that are there on the list. We have media who are seen as independent or critical of the government being targeted, like the recently Dainik Bhaskar and Bharat Samachar, who had covered the devastation of the second wave quite extensively. Activists like Sudha Bharadwaj and others in the Bhima Koregaon case. Critics like Tapsi Pannu, Anurag Kashyap also on the list. And even bureaucrats who have questioned the government were also targeted. Let's not forget the tax cases against Election Commissioner Ashok Lavasa's family members after he had disagreed with the clean chits given to Modi and Shah during the 2019 elections.
Okay, so it's not just it's politicians, it's bureaucrats, it's journalists, a wide sweep. Also, Mariam, you looked at 570, by the way, that's a huge number, 340% jump compared to the UPA 2. But you also looked at the number of cases that the BJP government has filed against its rivals versus how many cases or action was taken against those who are, in a sense, within the BJP rank.
Exactly, Vasu, and that is what is even more troubling because the Modi government does not seem to be showing the same kind of fervor when going against their own. If we can pull up those graphics on screen, we can see that right now. Action against BJP's rivals, we have 570 individuals or organizations. And on the other side, action against BJP's own members and their allies is a measly 39. And so, essentially, almost 15 of the opposition are targeted for every one of their own.
Right. So that's a big shift. You also looked at just 570 when it comes to rivals and just 39 when it comes to quote unquote the home team. And you also compared this to similar actions, because obviously all governments do this, similar actions taken under the UPA too.
Exactly, like you said, all governments do this, and this is not new, but the scale at which it is being done, that is what is staggering here. Under the Modi government, since May 2014, we saw 570 government critics face some sort of action. That is an average of about 75 a year. Under UPA 2, between 2009 and 2014, there were action against 85 such critics. That's an average of about 17 a year, Vasu, and that's a jump of 340%.
Okay, that's a very important number to remember, that again, it's not as if government critics and rivals haven't been raided or targeted in the past by governments, but it's the huge surge which is of note and which is concerning, 340%. Let's just also put up, Mariam, another graphic we have which just gives you an idea of who out of the political parties have been targeted the most. And let's go through those numbers now. And this is virtually every political party in India, non-BJP party, has a case against it. Congress, Mariam, is leading the pack, not surprisingly.
Exactly. Like you said, virtually everybody from the Abdullahs and Muftis in Jammu and Kashmir to MK Stallin's family and others of the DMK in Tamil Nadu, virtually every political party in the opposition is on our list. And at the top of that list is Congress, with 75 of their members targeted, including an IT notice to the Congress party itself. Right. Now, this could be by virtue of being the largest opposition party. But next on the list is the other most vocal opposition right now in India, the TMC. 36 of their members were targeted, including investigations by the Enforcement Directorate, CBI and the IT department into funds received by the party.
So you've got Congress 75, TMC 36, Aam Aadmi Party 18, NC National Conference 14, PDP 12, TDP 12, DMK 11, NCP 8 cases, RJD 8 cases, BJD, BSP, JDS, Shiv Sena, SP, Independence, YSRCP, CPIM, AIADMK, IUML. So, you know, and the list goes on and goes all the way down. The Akalis, AMMK, Raijor Party of Assam, Janasena. So, it really is going down to almost every single political party. And Mariam, now what we've done is we've kind of visualized a gallery of all those that have been targeted by the BJP or under the BJP's watch by central agencies. And this is now all the politicians that are coming up on the screen. These are, by the way, not even perhaps, Mariam, all of them.
Exactly, Vasu. This is just a sampling of the politicians that have been targeted. There are far more. There are, in fact, 257 politicians to be exact that have been targeted by the Modi government. This is just a sample of that.
Right. But just looking at that, let's stay with that for a second, because just looking at that, you get a sense of the scale of the numbers of those who've been targeted. You'll see obviously familiar faces there, which includes Congress leaders like Sonia Gandhi, like Rahul Gandhi, who face charges. Sharad Pawar is there, Mayawati is there. But then you have also a whole host of other political leaders, perhaps some of whom are not that prominent. But again, it gives you the size and the scope. And Mariam, let's now look at the others who've also been targeted, which, as you mentioned, includes journalists, it includes activists, it includes bureaucrats, it also includes even film stars who've asked or raised uncomfortable questions like Taapsee Pannu and so on.
Exactly, Vasu. So this again is not a complete list of everybody who has been targeted. There are many more. But this is just a sample. You can see you have Amnesty there, you have News Minute, Quint, media organizations like NewsClick, etc. Dainik Bhaskar. You have activists like the climate activist Disha Ravi is on there. We have student activists like Kanhaiya Kumar, who was a student leader then, Shaila Rashid and others, and other activists like Sudha Bhardwaj, etc. These are just a sample of the type of leaders and activists that they've gone up against, including some of the farm leaders that were in talks with the government about calling a truce. They were also targeted in the list.
Right, and of course also scores of those in Jammu and Kashmir who were picked up during the, the post the abrogation of and post the abrogation of Article 370 were picked up. The other question which you looked at, Mariam, is again to the argument that the government makes that this is not political, this is just, the law taking its own course, was that the timing of these raids, which indicates that there may be a political color.
Exactly, Vasu. There is a pattern and there is a design. If we look at Tamil Nadu, in 2021, right before the state was going to polls, you saw multiple DMK leaders being targeted, including tax raids on MK Stallin's daughter and son-in-law just 4 days before the state polls. In West Bengal, again before the 2021 state polls, agency action was taken against at least 14 TMC politicians, relatives and associates. This was before and during the state polls of 2021. In Rajasthan, during the 2020 political crisis when Sachin Pilot was attempting a coup of sorts, we saw action against at least 6 Congress politicians and aides, including the questioning of Ashok Gehlot's son, brother and OSD. In Karnataka, in 2019, in the run-up to the Lok Sabha elections and also the political crisis that the government of the time was facing, and the government eventually collapsed in July 2019, at that time, at least 14 JDS and Congress politicians, relatives and associates were targeted. In Gujarat, ahead of the Rajya Sabha elections in 2017, tax raids happened on the Karnataka resort where Congress's 42 MLAs were being sheltered.
That's right, by Congress leader DK Shiv Kumar. So staggering catalogue there, Mariam, fantastic work indeed. In fact, just remember that it's not just the critics of the government that are pointing to this. Just a few months ago, a number of BJP politicians themselves have publicly spoken of how entry into the ruling party has guaranteed them protection from central agencies.
नाही वैभवदादा ईडी मागायला नाही मी खासदार आहे भाजपचा पण मी भाजपचा खासदार आहे त्यामुळे काही ईडीकडे एवढं येणार नाही इकडं.
ED won't come after me, he says. All right, let's go across to panel. We have with us Yashovardhan Azad, the former IPS officer, is with us. Shama Mohammed, spokesperson of the Congress. Geeta Bhatt, political analyst, supports the RSS, BJP. Shantanu Sen, Rajya Sabha MP of the Trinamool Congress. But let me first start with Enram, director, Hindu Publishing Group. Thank you, Enram, for joining us. As we said, this is a first of its kind attempt to catalogue something that we've all been reporting on in bits and pieces, which is the sweeping action by central agencies against the BJP's rivals. And again, as we said, this is not a comprehensive list. It can evolve, it's publicly sourced. But it does, Enram, give you a snapshot, does it not, of the massive spike in the action taken by agencies.
Also, let me first compliment NDTV for this excellent journalistic project. This is important because now we have a database on the basis of which you can discuss this. Now, this is not subtle, what the BJP government is doing. This is grotesque. It is true that central agencies have been misused earlier, notably by the Congress governments, but this is on a different scale. And the wider context is it's not just these agencies. Institutions are being bent by direct pressure applied by the central government and by the Parivar. And the Election Commission is an example. The other day, that controversy that has been widely reported, which, what was asked for the Election Commissioners was condemned by virtually every previous chief election commissioner.
Yes.
Yeah, and so this is a massive misuse of institutions. This is a subversion of institutions.
Right.
But a fat lot of good it seems to have done the BJP in West Bengal, in Kerala also, when it targeted Pinarayi Vijayan and the Kerala Investment Fund Board, state, and so on. I don't think it's worked against the Shiv Sena either.
Right. So the political benefits may or may not always come through. But Yashovardhan Azad, again, the point being made here that, as I said at the outset, this is not our case or anyone's, that this indicates innocence or guilt. That is for the agencies to prove. But, and again, that this kind of use or misuse is not new. But are you also concerned when one sees this huge jump in the number of cases? The way the targeting is happening.
I'm more concerned with the way this statecraft is being used by all the governments. Remember, in 2007, you
Yes.
had the heavyweight, Mr. Mulayam Singh Yadav, against whom the disproportionate case was registered. And
Absolutely.
later on, it was withdrawn. In 2013, the BJP wrote a letter to Mr. Manmohan Singh saying that you should not use CBI as a government tool.
Yes.
Now I understand that BJP has gone beyond any level. It has jumped up 340%. But it has only perfected the art which has been done for throughout these periods.
Right.
And that's why I say it again and again. Unless you give the requisite autonomy to the enforcement agencies, India will continue to suffer. And
Right.
let me tell you another thing. Before the elections, our elections are all about money, caste, and nuisance value. So the government is trying to hit at the opposition at the lowest to
Right.
even stop the damn money trail. And this has been happening all throughout. And that is why, while I'm most concerned about it, I feel there is no solution because all the parties are not coming together on this issue because they realize that the government in power will always have the upper hand. So try and form your government and then have it your way.
Right. Geeta, but again, that's the point, that while this is not something which is new, we've seen this even in previous governments. Like we mentioned, there are instances of the UPA, acting against its rivals. 85 are the cases that we counted. But look at the comparison, 85 versus 570. It's a huge jump in the manner in which agencies are targeting the BJP's rivals, virtually not touching anybody in the home team. Surely, from that point of view, it becomes harder and harder to argue that this is simply the law taking its own course.
Well, Srinivasanji, I could see that even, the cases like that against Dainik Bhaskar have been counted in your survey. I don't know which all cases you have taken, but this was a case that, Dainik Bhaskar is not just just a newspaper, but it's basically a business group. And they have, mining business in Jharkhand, in Chhattisgarh, and there are cases against them over there. So,
Geeta ji,
putting them in this, let me at least speak. Now, I am coming to the point,
Yes.
Srinivasanji, please let me speak.
Yes,
At least for a minute.
Yes.
Right? You were talking about, Jammu and Kashmir Bank. There has been a diversion of more than 1,000 crore rupees for buying of properties by people who have been involved in the bank. There are political parties, the three main
Geeta ji.
political families who have been involved in it. And their investigation
Geeta ji.
is still on. And if you come to...
Geeta ji, if we are going case by case, no, one second.
Well, that is
We
what
are not.
you are
No.
trying to,
Listen.
add
The
on
point.
by adding case to case. So let me also try to
The
put
point.
forward.
No. The point we are trying to make is that it is not as if to say that the people who've been targeted are necessarily innocent. The point we are trying to make is that it seems to be a stretch of the imagination to claim that the only ones who are quote unquote guilty or are worthy of probe and scrutiny are the BJP's rivals or non-BJP parties and critics and dissenters, while when it comes to those who are the BJP's allies, 517 one side, and guess how many on the other side? 39. That's it.
Srinivasanji, yes, I mean, in
That's the point.
2019, the disproportionate acid case against Mulayam Singh Yadav and his son by the CBI, it was deregistered.
You didn't.
This is just one example I am putting
You didn't listen to a word I said. I said
No, I listened to
570
you and
cases against BJP rivals, only
Yes, but why
39 cases when it comes to those who are either of the BJP or are friendly to the BJP.
Yes, but then
That's-
if there is
you
a
think
merit,
that's
if there is a merit in the case, and if
fair?
the investigating agencies are 2 points, quick points that I want
Okay.
to make.
No,
But
not
one
not
point
time for
is
2
that
points
if-
now because I have to go to the others.
Okay, 1 point. If there is a tax evasion which has taken place, if there is embezzlement of money, if there are disproportionate assets to someone's income, then just
Geeta
because
ji,
if there are polls around,
Geeta
these
ji, Geeta ji.
investigations should be stopped.
There are,
That
okay, I
also
have to
is
go
a
to
question
Shama
which
Mohammed.
needs
I
to
have
be
to,
looked
I
at.
have to go to Shama Mohammed. The point is, there are M number of cases where allegations were made about the BJP appearing to bribe or influence MLAs. Recordings were produced in Rajasthan and Karnataka. BJP leaders making cash offers to MLAs. Did any central agency probe them? They didn't. That's the point which needs to be considered. But Shama Mohammed, coming to the point, while yes, it's true our database shows a huge surge, the point is these are all bad precedents set by previous governments, including the Congress, on which the BJP is simply building.
Basu, we can't keep doing this. Every time something comes up, you say there's a precedent by the Congress government. India has become a police state. It's very clear now. There's nothing more to say. It's just a police state. And three important points in which your reporter said, one, it has gone up by 360 times. Number two, it's the
340,
timing.
yeah.
And number three, 340. And number three, it is the pressure also on present people like Mayawati, YSR Congress, so that in the Rajya Sabha, they go according to what the Prime Minister wants. And very important is also people like Himanta Biswa Sarma, who has a charge sheet filed by the Justice Department of the US in the Louise Berger case. They were gunning for him. And then what happens? They wanted a CBI probe. He joins. Everything is quiet. Then we all, so these are very important precedents. Means Narayan Rane, he joins that. They always said that there was money laundering by him. He joins the party. He's clean. Mukul Roy, let's understand. Enforcement directed summoned him for Sharda. Let me finish. Sharda and Narda, everything stopped. And let's not forget the
But on the point that but surely the point that even when it came to the Congress, perhaps at a lesser scale, the same thing was done. The instance of Mulayam Singh Yadav was cited. There are many instances. Jagan was targeted. So many of the Congress's rivals were also targeted, and when it became convenient, the cases were rolled back.
So in our case, law will take its own course. But here, Vasu, you have seen the scale at which it's gone. No, look at Alok Verma. Alok Verma was investigating Rafale. What happened? Midnight coup, he was replaced by Nageshwar Rao. The journalists they are after. This is a police state. Activists. Rona Wilson's phone. Implementing evidence put into his phone.
Okay, Dr. Shantanu Sen.
Is used.
Okay,
Never in the history of India.
Right. Dr. Shantanu Sen, the point that N. Ram was making is that yes, there may be this huge surge of cases, the maybe misuse of agencies, as some say the CBI, ED and IT are allies of the NDA, but politically, Trinamool Congress is amongst the highest after the Congress in our database that has been targeted. 36 of your people targeted, but politically, can it backfire at times on the ruling dispensation?
Well, I would love to be allowed to share three important points and one real fact. And before that, I must say, Trinamool Congress is the biggest threat to Narendra Modi and Amit Shah, which is being proved by this data shown by you. Now, let me come to the three important points. Number one, it proves that the people of India, they are passing through the worst possible state since independence. Number two, perhaps the name of the company producing the best possible washing machine is Bharatiya Janata Party. You put the dirtiest possible cloth in this machine and it becomes absolutely a clean one. And number three, most unfortunate part of the story is Bharatiya Janata Party, namely Narendra Modi ji and Amit Shah ji, they have brought down the value of these important investigating agencies like anything in the eyes of the common people. And let me cite the example.
Okay, we're very short on time.
Just 1 second. Our leader of opposition in our state of West Bengal was probably the maximum patronized person when he was in Trinamool Congress. Because of this fear of these agencies, he had to join BJP and now
the cases.
And now he is the LOP of this West Bengal Legislative Assembly. That's what I say.
All right. Well, we're out of
also.
time.
NCB is also there.
Yes, of course. No, these are, by the way, all central agencies that we've counted, including the NCB. But we're out of time. We'll come back to this because this is, very important data, and we'll continue to closely examine it. And remember that this is not just the center, but now this practice being replicated in state government after state government as well, going after their political rivals. But certainly, the centre always sets the signal. We're out of time. We'll have to leave it there. Thank you for watching Reality Check, and thank you for joining me. Good night.